Nakama. No word in the One Piece community dictionary stirs up such different opinions and theories other than the new Nakama debate. Except power level discussions, which is a tumor waiting to happen. So I'm not even gonna go there. New arc, new characters, and with new characters introduced, you can bet Luffy's mom that you will hear a new Nakama prediction. Fish boobies, new Nakama! Bird boobies, new Nakama! Furry boobies, new Nakama! You see, Ichiro Oda, the author of the long-running pirate series, knows that the Strawhat Pirates is a prestigious select group. I mean, they are the main characters of his story, so I'm pretty certain that he would not have someone join the group just because they are funny, cool, or got boobies. Are you fucking kidding?
Alright, well, we definitely apologize for that editing error.
Well, I can't blame you. It is fun to speculate about the possible new Nakama of the Straw Hat crew. I mean, I do it all the time too, but what if there's a way to observe Oda's writing? And what if there are hidden clues throughout the series that we can find that can help us come up with good candidates for the last members of the Straw Hat Pirates? So put on your straw hats, activate your observation haki, and join me as we try to recruit the final members of the Straw Hat Pirates. In this video, we first need to establish and clear up some important things. Number 1. The final number of the Straw Hat Pirate crew and why. Number 2. Oda and the Japanese writing style. Number 3. The criteria to determine a good Straw Hat Pirate candidate and who are not good candidates for the Straw Hat Pirate crew. So who do I think will join the Straw Hat Pirates? We will answer that! First is a disclaimer. This is my theory, and the theory that I mostly had since 2008. Well, mostly because my mind changed on some things, but 3 characters remain the same until now. One of them is this guy. Second, this will be a crazy theory, and for some people, will be quite far-fetched. I actually got banned in a forum for fighting for this theory a few years ago. The memories. But anyways, please watch the entire theory series thoroughly and let me hear your thoughts. I mean, I want to have a discussion, so let me know your thoughts. Give me attention, please. I am no matter what they say. So who do I think will join the Straw Hat Pirates? Jinbei, Tashigi, Wiper of Shandia, and Vice Admiral Smoker.
Absolutely
wrong.
Jesus fucking Christ, could you let me finish first, Donald? You heard it right. Jinbei, Tashigi, Wiper, and Smoker. They are the characters that I think would be the final members of the Straw Hat Pirates. Yo, why not new characters, man? The fuck is this shit? Okay, damn, let me explain. First of all, Oda did say that One Piece is 80% done, and even if that is not the case, story writing wise, Oda will benefit from having characters we already know and fleshed out joining the crew than new characters that he needed to introduce and flesh out with the audience. So I think that Oda intended characters that would join in the new world to be introduced early and fleshed out before the time skip, so he can easily insert them into the crew. And what is my evidence? Jinbei. As a matter of fact, I actually think that Oda already planned all the members of the Straw Hat Pirates even before he started One Piece. If there's one thing that Oda is really good at, it's his ability to plan and foreshadow elements in his series. And if we are talking about the main characters of the series, I am pretty sure that he already knows who exactly are the characters that would be member of his pirate crew. Do you know that when One Piece launched in 1997, Ichiro Oda mentioned that he just planned One Piece to run for 5 years? In fact, he also noted that the original plan is for Luffy and his group to immediately encounter the Yonkos after reaching the Grand Line, which means we would have never seen these guys, and in turn, we will also not see these guys if One Piece didn't extend the way that it did. Thank the Otaku God. During the first few chapters of One Piece, Luffy said that he would get at least 10 members, and Luffy also notes that he would need to find members first before crossing the Grand Line, meaning that Oda probably originally intended Luffy to get all his crew before crossing the Grand Line. But in a panel during the Arlong Park arc, which was released during 1999, Luffy said this. What happened? Luffy suddenly was ready to go to the Grand Line with just a 5-person crew, including him, different from what he was implying on the first few chapters. Which means that at this point, Oda's plan for the story changed, and if you want evidence, this arc also foreshadowed the Shichibukai, a group that was inserted to replace the Yonko in the Grand Line. Are you following? Let's move on. Speaking of inserted characters, do you know which character among the Strawhat pirates was just inserted into the crew? Nico Robin. Nico Robin was just inserted into the crew because of the new necessity of having an archaeologist in the Straw Hat Pirates. But at the same time, Oda also mentioned that he already planned the ending of One Piece even before he started the serialization of One Piece. Which means that Oda always intended Luffy and his crew to oppose the world government. Evidence with the inclusion of Kobe and him mentioning the Marines right in the very first arc. The inclusion of Robin probably meant that Oda decided to expand on the poneglyphs and the Void Century angle of the story. Interesting, right? So from this fact, along with Luffy deciding to enter the Grand Line with only 4 members and the inclusion of Nico Robin, it means that the other original crew members' recruitment timeline and location got pushed back into the story. They are still out there like the original story intended, but they got pushed back because of the need to insert Nico Robin in the story. And that's why I think the final crew members are already existing characters and are characters that Luffy and the others already met. On the databook, One Piece Green, Secret Pieces, Oda revealed the early sketch and tentative members of the Straw Hat Pirates. This was released in November of 2010, just right after the Thriller Bark arc. Notice that Oda waited for everyone recognizable in the sketch to join before releasing this image. Just one look and you will see which characters Oda already decided to be a part of the Straw Hat Pirate crew. Luffy, Zoro, Sanji, Usopp, Nami, and Brook. That's why he waited until the end of the Thriller Bark arc to release this. Excluding the 6 characters I mentioned, there are 3 more unused characters in the sketch. A smoking, sword-wielding moose guy, a small fishman-looking klabauter man with a mallet, and a tall, spiky-haired, inventor-looking guy with a goggle, trench coat, and a bandana. Oda referred to this character as the plant-loving guy. If you combine the moose character with the size of the klabauter man, you would obviously get Chopper. The goggles and the inventor look of the plant-loving guy became a staple of Usopp's character. Not to mention that Usopp probably also acquired this character's plant-loving nature. The bandana of the plant-loving character was given to Roronoa Zoro. And obviously, since the Klabauter Man is a carpenter character, this obviously became Cyborg Frankie. And Oda did really intend to have a cyborg character in the crew, but it was first given to Nami. Looking at Nami's original concept, we could see some elements that Oda planned to include with the Straw Hat Pirates. A rebel soldier type character with boots and scars, and a melee type female character. The intention of Oda to insert a melee-type female character is also evidenced here with another one of Nami's early concept. Just with an observation, we can determine how Oda came came up with Luffy, Zoro, Nami, Usopp, Sanji, Chopper, Robin, Frankie, and Brook. With all the examples I gave, one thing we can get from this is that Ichiro Oda doesn't have a problem mixing and transferring elements from one character to another to still keep those elements and create a new concept. Looking back at the Fishman-looking Klabauterman character, there's obviously a word that sticks out: Fishman. And since Frankie got the Klabauterman trait, Jinbei was given the Fishman element of the character. But back, Jinbei doesn't look remotely like this Fishman. Well, neither does Jinbei's original concepts are. Just look at them. Jinbei was originally planned to look like Makro, the other Fishman pirate, to be the design of Jinbei. So, what happened to the Klabauterman Fishman design for Jinbei? I believe it was given to this guy, and Jinbei's design was redrawn to look like the badass we know now.
Yo! Blah blah, motherfucker!
Observing the Moose character again, well, aside from it being the base design for Chopper, what elements are included in this character? The early version of Chopper is a chain-smoking, sword-wielding, constantly grumpy fellow. And if you look back about my speculation that Oda intended a female melee character in the crew, along with early Chopper's attire and his sword-wielding elements, we get this character, Tashigi. Actually, Oda really intended 3 sword-wielding characters in the crew, as we can see from the sketch. As for the chain-smoking and constantly grumpy element of the original Chopper, it seems that Oda intended to have someone other than Sanji to be a chain-smoking character. If you combine this element with Nami's original sketch and my assumption that Oda intended a ranger-type, boot-wearing, rebel character full of scars to be included in the crew, we get this character, Vice Admiral Smoker. Come to think of it, Smoker might have gotten the trench coat and spiky hair element of the plant-loving guy. Well, until the time skip. So, Jinbei, Tashigi, and Smoker might be hidden in this simple sketch. Remember when I said earlier that this theory experienced some few changes throughout the years? This is the change I'm talking about. When I started coming up with this theory, and until now, after 10 years of developing this hypothesis, 3 characters had been constant: Jinbei, Tashigi, and Smoker. But when I'm creating theories, I don't do it expecting that I'm hitting it on the spot. I do it for the fun of creating theories. After all, we are talking about the almighty Goda. I do try and consider other possibilities and even poke holes in my own reasonings, so my theories keep on developing. And I will admit, one character that keep on changing in my predictions is the character that is now being represented by Wiper. You see, I have gone from speculating an Elbaf warrior and even a joke character called Mikio Ito to join the Strawhat Pirates before I ended up picking Wiper as the best candidate for this spot. So, for Wiper, consider it a blank spot that you can speculate yourself. But I think I have good arguments on the criterias for this spot that I have given to Wiper. Well, I will explain later, so don't you worry. We good? So how many members will the Strawhat Pirates have? Because I think Jinbei is the last character to join. I beg to disagree, and here's why. When Luffy said, "I want at least 10 crew members," we need to take note of few things. Luffy is not including himself, so it's going to be at least 11 crew members, excluding Luffy. And using the correct translation from Shueisha, Luffy specifically said at least 10 crew members. So we know it's going to be at minimum 11 crew members, 12 members including Luffy. Well, I think the final count of the Strawhat Pirate crew will be 13 members. And here's why. During Ichiro Oda's interview with China Times, Oda mentioned there will be new Nakama and they will show up successively. It appears to me that in this context, successively means that at least 2 characters will show up one after another and will join. This interview happened in 2014, in the middle of the Dressrosa arc. So anything after the Dressrosa arc will be the start of the consecutive requirements for the new members of the Straw Hat Pirate crew. We probably already saw the first one in Whole Cake Island with Jinbei. So that means we would have the successive recruit in the very next arc in Wano Kuni. Have you guys noticed that Oda likes using pattern on his story writing?
You serious?
Well, how about this, this, and this? Exactly. Now, did you know that there's actually a pattern with Luffy's recruitment as well? Let me explain by breaking it down into 3 parts. East Blue, Grand Line, and New World. Obviously, these are the 3 oceans that the Straw Hats sailed on. Who did Luffy recruited in East Blue? Roronoa Zoro, Nami, Usopp, and Sanji. When Luffy crossed over to the Grand Line, he recruited Tony Chopper, Nico Robin, Frankie, and Dead Bones Brook. If you observe the characters I mentioned for East Blue and Grand Line, there are 2 obvious and consistent premises in each. First is that Luffy recruits 4 people in each of the ocean, and second is that the recruitment pattern for each area goes as follows. A male recruit, followed by a temporary joining of a female recruit, and succeeded by 2 more male recruits. And just to tie everything together, there is also an indicator that the pattern is restarting after the recruitment of 4 people in each ocean. The appearance of Roger's top crew members after the 4th recruit of each ocean. The appearance of Crocus at Twin Peaks symbolized the end of East Blue recruits and start of the Grand Line recruits, while the appearance of Silver's Rayleigh signaled the end of Grand Line recruits and start of the New World recruits. So you might be wondering, what about Duke Inuarashi and Master Nekomamushi? They're also member of the Roger Pirates, right? Well, how should I put it? They are not top members of Goldie Roger's crew. In fact, they are actually just following Oden Kozuki after Oden got recruited by Roger from the Whitebeard Pirates. You could say they are acquaintances for Roger that is placed throughout the series to drive the exploration of Roger's era. Just like Redleg Seth, Dr. Kureha of East Blue, Whitebeard and Garp for Grand Line, and I'm predicting Jewelry Bunny for the New World. I have a video for that Bonnie prediction. Link is in the description box below. Shameless plug. We have a pattern for the recruits on each sea. We also have indicators when the recruitment pattern is over. But there is one important thing that we need to also determine in the pattern. When did the pattern start? And when is it gonna end? It's easy to say that the pattern of 4 people being recruited in each sea will end in the New World. But what is the indicator that the recruitment pattern is an actual thing and not something I made up as a forced observation? That indicator, I think, is one of the 4 Yonkos, Red Hair Shanks. The story of One Piece started when Shanks gave the Straw Hat to Luffy. From there on out, Luffy's recruitment process began. And I'm speculating that we will be certain that Luffy's crew is complete when and if he finally gives the Straw Hat bag to Red Hair Shanks. If you want evidence, here!
Yeah! That was legitness!
Now that the Straw Hat Pirates enter the New World, by following the established pattern I presented, this is how I think it would go. The male first recruit is Jinbei. The temporary female second recruit will be Tashigi. The male third recruit will be Wiper of Shandia, and the male fourth and final recruit of the Strawhat Pirates will be Vice Admiral Smoker. And for the Roger Pirate that the Strawhat Pirates would encounter, Scupper Gabon. However, there is a caveat in this pattern, and that is Nefertari Vivi. I'm sure you all remember. Princess Vivi was a de facto member of the Straw Hat Pirates, and she would be the character we will add in the pattern and will be called the Schrodinger Nakama. The circumstances of Nefertari Vivi rings true to all the Schrodinger Nakama in the pattern. The Schrodinger Nakama always declines the invitation to join the crew because they chose the responsibility that they need to fulfill instead of joining the adventures of the Straw Hat Pirates. And the Schrodinger Nakama always, and I mean always, declines Luffy's invitation after the female crew member temporarily temporarily joins, just like Gaiman. Wait. But Princess Vivi joined the Straw Hat Pirates even before Chopper and Robin joined. Let me clarify that, contrary to the belief of many, Vivi didn't join as a Straw Hat Pirate in any point of her stay in the Going Merry. When Vivi first met Luffy and the Straw Hat Pirates, she came on board Merry-Go as a hostage, until she became someone that the Straw Hats want to help. Yes, she became a Nakama, but she did not become a crew member. Gaimon got invited and declined after Nami temporarily joined. The same can be said for Vivi. Vivi was invited and declined to join the crew after Nico Robin temporarily joined the crew. If you don't believe me, just think about this. When the Straw Hats are doing this cool ass pose after Vivi declined the invitation to be a Straw Hat Pirate, where do you think was Nico Robin? I'll take I haven't thought of that way, Alex. Nico Robin already invited herself in the Straw Hat Pirates even before Vivi got invited. So yes, Gaimon and Vivi are included in the pattern of recruits, and we will name them as the Schrodinger Nakama. They are failed recruits and perfectly fits the pattern. So, who do I think will be the Schrodinger Nakama of the new world? This guy, Momonosuke. So that is the pattern of the recruitment of Straw Hat Pirates.
You know what I'm saying?
When it comes to Japanese character writing, one thing that is prevalent and commonly used, especially during the tokusatsu genre explosion, is the Japanese's tendency to categorize their characters with colors. Although this technique had been adopted by the West, most popular example would be the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and tokusatsu-inspired Power Rangers. Japanese culture had been using colors to convey emotion, mood, personality, and variation on their characters ever since the Kabuki days of Edo period. I think we could all agree that One Piece follows the same structure when it comes to using colors to characterize and differentiate characters from each other. To most of us in the Western culture, this is how we see our color palette. But in Japan, this is their color palette. Monkey D. Luffy is red. Roronoa Zoro is green.
You mean Midoriya from the best anime ever? Boku no Hero.
The fuck? Nami is orange. Usopp is yellow. Sanji is blue. Chopper is pink. And Sakura. Robin is purple. Frankie is teal. And Brooke is black and white. So, if we are going to assign the last remaining colors with my predicted members of the Straw Hat crew, I think it fits perfectly. Jinbei is aqua. I mean, he's the first knight of the sea, and the fishman, Tashigi, is indigo, popularly known as Japan Blue. Indigo is one of the most important color in Japanese culture. Will Tashigi show up in Wano Kuni arc? Wiper is brown, which symbolizes the color of the earth. Smoker is gray, the color of ash, symbolizing a new beginning, and in Japanese anime culture, symbolizes struggles and morality. I will expand on the color schemes later. I mean, you get the idea. As for the gold color, I do think it's up for your own interpretation. The Straw Hat from Goldie Rogers Gold, the Thousand Sunny is considered gold, and who knows, maybe One Piece? Or maybe you can associate gold along with brown to Wiper, since Shandia holds the City of Gold. Let's see. We already discussed how many members would the Straw Hat Pirates have. I presented who I think are the characters to join the Straw Hat Pirates. Now, how do you determine if a character is a good candidate or a bad candidate to be a Straw Hat Pirate? By using Oda's story writing pattern. Let us establish the criteria that we can all use to determine the most plausible candidates of the final members of the Straw Hat Pirates. Number 1. Boobies!
Psych! That's the wrong number!
Number 1. Originality. From all the criterias on deciding whether the character is a good candidate or a bad candidate, a short-term, foolproof method is the eye test. It's how original and different the character is from the other characters, especially the rest of the Straw Hat Pirates. Just keep this in mind. Ichiro Oda, up to this point, made sure to keep every single Straw Hat unique and different in terms of themes and personality. I mean, you will never see another talking skeleton musician, another Speedo-wearing cyborg, or a blue-nosed transforming furry in the crew. Oda doesn't need another cute mascot in the crew. Chopper already got that on lock. And if ever another cute furry shows up, you get this with Luffy. So, even with boobs, say goodbye to Carrot or any other Minkman. Say goodbye to the green-haired Nami, pink-haired Nami, and the giant mermaid Nami. It's not a furry convention, people. It's a pirate crew. Number 2. Outcast status and freedom. One of the main themes of One Piece is the idea of family without having blood relations. Luffy and Ace being adopted by Garp, raised by Dadan, making a brotherhood pact with Sabo. It's a running theme in the series. One of the reasons why we are emotionally invested in the Straw Hat Pirates is their identity of family, and it does feel like a family. Luffy, Usopp, and Chopper are like the younger brothers of Zoro, who got a competitive rivalry with Sanji, who acts like your pervert uncle that gets along with your pervert grandpa, Brook. I mean, you get the point. All of these characters had one similarity. They are all outcasts of their society or a known troublemaker. And that's the reason why Vivi and Gaimon didn't join, because they have a place they belong to. Roronoa Zoro is a pirate hunter, no family, and is a traveler. Nami was first introduced to be hated by the Kokoyashi village. Usopp was a known troublemaking liar in Syrup village. Sanji was a problem child in Baratie. Chopper was a considered monster in Drum Kingdom. Nico Robin is literally hunted all her life and was the only survivor of her village. Frankie was a dismantler in the town of Shipwrights that lives outside the Water 7, and Brook is literally alone in his own ship. One good way to determine if a character is a good candidate or not is to see if they are introduced as an outcast. But it's not being an outcast that completely sells someone to be a Straw Hat Pirate. It's the feeling of being an outcast and the internal struggle of that character to stay in his position or follow his own desires to freely pursue his dream. That is one of the telltale signs if someone can be a candidate to be a Straw Hat Pirate. So no, this character will not join because his desires are tied to his own country. Number 3. A tragic past and an inherited will. Now, we go to the deeper stuff. Ooh. As Dragon said, there are 3 things that no one can stop. One of them is the inherited will. And as you know with One Piece, an inherited will means a fucking sob story. And no, I didn't cry with this, or this, or this. I mean, okay, I kinda cried. Well, sometimes a character doesn't reveal a tragic past right away, and this is when you need to keep your observation haki activated. And one thing that Oda is really good at is providing foreshadowing. So, sometimes a character low-key gives away a tragic past or a motivation with his dialogue or personality. I mean, just look at this, or this. When you first read it, it doesn't mean much. It's just a personality. But now that you look back at it, that one line means so much to the motivation and past of that character. Observation haki. What the fuck is this overpowered Number 4. Luffy should like you. The most simple yet overlooked criteria of all. Listen to this, mates. Luffy will not let you join the crew if he thinks you're a douchebag or least bit interesting. So if Luffy said this, just give up, mate. It means Luffy finds the rabbit girl boring. And for fuck's sake, if Luffy said this, and Usopp said this, and Nami, and Sanji, and Chopper said this, It translates to, you're a bad person, dude. We don't fuck with you. And yet, everyone is vouching for this guy to join the crew. Get the fuck out of here. So, aside from having a positive interaction with the Strawhat Pirates, being an actual good guy who doesn't grudge children or kill their own people is actually a good criteria for a Strawhat Pirate, believe it or not. Someone who doesn't sit well with Luffy will not be a Strawhat Pirate. No, not you, Frankie. That's way back in Water 7. You're cool now. So this is the introductory video, the first part of this long-ass theory series. Watch out for the next part and we will discuss the final 4 members of the Strawhat Pirates: Jinbei, Tashigi, Wiper, and Smoker. If you get the attention span of a goldfish, I don't know what I can do for you, man. I mean, I'm detailed as fuck and I make long videos. That's just the way it is. So, I don't know, go watch some Musically or something. No, seriously, I don't care if you subscribe or not. I don't give a fuck.